so far what I've done is everything's been a Word document to this point. And what I'd like to do real quick is do a few things. One is in this input folder, I'm going to go to the documents and I'm going to grab a bunch now. I'm going to go grab these 3 Word documents, put them in the input folder. They're going to get absorbed. I'm going to take some of these complex Excel documents. I'm going to put them in the input folder. They'll get absorbed. I'm going to go over here to the CAD documents. I'll go take a few of these. I'll put them in the input folder. And you get the point. Like, it doesn't matter if they're CAD, Excel, Visio, PowerPoint, DWG. But what's happening now is Adlib has now received all those jobs. And you can start to see some of them are processing and some of them are in the ready state. Okay. This same workflow that we kicked off, whether it was an Excel file, whether it was a CAD file, whether it was a Word file, is going to be the same every time for this particular document type. It'll have the header, have the watermark, it'll have the security, it'll have all the things that we just configured. And really one of the largest selling points for a solution like Adlib is most, in fact, all PDF rendering utilities out there are linear. So a document is processed in the order it's received. And in order to get any notion of like queuing, you actually have to have a load balancer with multiple server instances going, and a load balancer is picking where the next document in queue goes. What we've done is we have something called high performance engines. So you can start to see here that we had one engine, and as I started adding more documents, this server has up to 3 engines. And really what it's tied to is the number of CPU cores that are available on your virtual machine or your physical machine. So if you have 16 virtual cores, you literally can be running 16 multi-threaded processes in parallel. So it's a really slick way to add some scaling to an environment without adding containers or without doing anything around load balancers or anything to that point. So IT kind of loves this approach. And for those customers that already have something like Adlib or even a competitive solution, what we found is you can greatly reduce the server load and footprint here. So you may have needed 10 servers before, you may only need 1 or 2 now as a result of this multi-threaded processing. This also allows you to do things like distributed OCR, where if you have a large document, say 1,000 pages, and the OCR step obviously is very CPU intensive, you can break that 1,000-page document into, say, 10 100-page documents or 110-page documents. Our multi-threaded processing will grab those individual jobs, process them, OCR them, and then stitch them back together. So you can take a large, complex OCR document, break it down into smaller pieces, and then stitch it back together in a much quicker way than before, as an example. So while I've been talking, all these jobs now have been completed successfully. And in the output folder, which is over here, we now have a series of things, right? So the first thing, I'm just going to click on them randomly. We have our open password, which is CBTS. All right, this one here was obviously a CAD drawing. It was a multi-page CAD drawing, and it was able to separate the pages or layers into, in this case, 2 pages. Okay, we also added our watermark. We also added our header across the top. All right, I'm not going to open them all, but let's just go find, say, what looks to be, this is an Excel file, CETS. All right, the initial Excel file was multiple tabs, and you can see what it's done here. It's broken into each of those individual tabs into individual pages, and Adlib was smart enough to determine which one should be portrait and which one should be landscape. So sizing accordingly based on page setup and so on within the Excel doc itself. Okay, so I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see regardless of file format, we have the ability to convert to PDF and follow through with our rule set.